Ultros is a psychedelic puzzle platforming adventure with enough unique twists thrown in that, if you're like me, will have you absolutely hooked for hours on end, both in intrigue and frustration. And by the end of your playthrough, a newfound appreciation for gardening? Maybe. Walk with me here. So, you take on the role of some sort of space explorer who wakes up crash-landed on a weird alien ship with no memories of how you got there. Your first encounter with sentience warns you that, like everyone else on the ship, you're trapped by something somewhere, and that pretty much sets you off on the journey exploring this ship as you try to figure it all out. The gameplay is your typical platformer with similar mechanics and some pretty interesting takes on skills and unlocking tools and paths to further open up the ship to you. Coming across different biomes and characters who teach you about the ship and the different things that you end up being able to do to solve some of the puzzles you come across. Now, for the most part, the game is a pretty straightforward platformer, but with a loop mechanic. You get to the goal of each cycle, which then triggers a reset of everything, with you back at the beginning and the world and everyone in the ship having no memory of the previous cycle. The only thing that pretty much survives each reset cycle is the physical changes you've made to the ship using plants growing on the ship. This starts off pretty basic, with you planting the right seed in an area and then you using the plant that eventually grows there in the next cycle. But that quickly starts to get very complicated when you start to pick up more and more tools that open up more of your options for manipulating the plant life and getting access to more areas of the ship. Now, this is where the game might lose quite a couple of you. I won't lie. My first attempt, I went with what I thought was the most efficient route to get through each cycle and then clean up everything later, but turns out this really wasn't the way to play the game, because halfway through, you get introduced to a completely new mechanic called the Living Network that essentially allows you to bring the ship back to life, giving you access to an alternate ending. But if you want this ending, you have to be a bit more thoughtful and pretty much figure out a way to be a step or two ahead of each cycle before you trigger a reset. And this will take a really good couple of hours if you try to get into the muddle of solving all the puzzles and trying to get all the trophies in this game, which does involve a more pacifistic playstyle, but that's all I'm going to say on the matter. Your mileage may vary though, depending on how much time you're willing to invest in this. Thankfully, the game also allows you to load back to the start of any one of your previous cycles if you completely mess up somewhere, and if you're lucky enough to remember where you messed up, that's so useful. Or if you just want to backtrack and start working on getting some of these things earlier, or just start afresh, it's a great option to have. As you go on, you're also able to unlock more skills that ease your getting around the ship a bit more. For example, the ability to keep a skill unlocked permanently through cycles, and this lets you spend less resources in future runs to get you access to other areas and unlock other challenges, and therefore more trophies for all you completionists out there. And that pretty much sums this one up. It's a casual game, but will actually take some time if you want to get through everything. So, what are you gonna do? One ending? Both endings? Which one will you be going for?